Hey, couch potatoes. Welcome to another episode of On the Sofa with me, your girl, Lil Sonya. Come in, take a seat, and let's get the conversation started. Hey, couch potatoes, and welcome to another episode of On the Sofa with your girl, Lil Sonya. And today we have the pleasure of having Vincent Moore, aka the Legacy Chef, on the sofa with us today. Welcome, Vincent.
It's great to be here, Lil Sonya, and on your show. Going to talk it up, cook it up, and how we do it, right?
Yes. So, Vincent, I don't know if you ever had the pleasure of tuning into my show, but I always like to ask my guests before we get started as an icebreaker to choose a number no greater than your current age, and then share it with the audience when you're ready.
All right. Sounds good. 23.
23. Okay, Vincent. Now you have the pleasure of telling the audience, what does 23-year-old Vincent, and how does it tie into Vincent, who's on the sofa with us today?
Oh, I didn't know that was going to be attached to my age.
That's the icebreaker. Let's have some fun.
All right. 23, I guess the first thing I thought of were people of excellence.
Okay.
At that time when I was 23 years old, who was it that I was like really thinking about saying, hey, this person is, kind of somebody that, inspires me. So at the time, you all know anybody who's a basketball fan out there in Chicago.
Yes, that's right.
Who was 23, the number 23, and that number 23 was Michael Jordan.
Shout out to the GOAT.
Yep. So shout out to him, but not just his ability on the court, but what he did off the court, inspiring so many others to do and to strive for excellence no matter what you're doing. So, and for me as a young black man, I was like, hey, we don't have too many of those that are on the court doing the things off the court as well as in any other genre. So it's inspired me to start looking out there for the other people too. And then I had to look in the mirror at myself at the age of 23 and say, okay, what about me? Because it's not always about somebody else and what they do. Sometimes we try to live the life of others or through others.
So true.
And I'm like, no, I need to step up and do my thing. And so at 23, that was kind of, I guess that's why that came into my mind at that time. So it's all off the shoulder and off cuff here.
What are some of the things that the GOAT did to inspire you off the court?
There were a couple things, and they don't talk a lot about that, but what he did with the youth. He did a video a long time ago, a music video, so to speak. He had like the musicians and stuff all come in, and it was actually, he involved the youth in the story of his life, of what it was like when you're small and you're trying to achieve things. So he always spoke to the youth about using your talent to achieve. Don't give up and don't quit. He shared about his story as far as, he got cut from the team, and some people at that young age of life, that'll change their whole life. They're like, hey, it's time for me to just, if I'm not good at this, then I'm not going to be good at anything else. Well, what he ended up doing was he found out what it was that he needed to work on, and he worked really hard on it while other people had written him off. His friends, that happens to you now. Your friends, also just, people that are close to you, you got to take it within your heart and go and do that. So he talks a lot about that with the inner city youth. He talks about that to this day with young men and different people. So you don't see a lot about that. You see how much money he's making and, the commercials and all those things. So that's what inspires me about, just one of the things that he's been doing off the court. So, and of course, you got to look in the mirror at yourself.
That's so true. That's so true.
What are you doing? So, those are the things that inspired me to start getting involved in doing things too. Actually, at that age, at 23. So, that's a whole other story. Me being a coach of a all-female basketball team.
Really?
Yes, I got tricked into it. took the reins, and we were last place. I'm telling you, we were. It was like those girls were showing up like, what? Who are you? What's a guy gonna show me? Where's the woman coach? So all that stuff I had to go through, and we went on to being into the championship team. So that's a whole other. Well, we didn't win the championship, but we played as in the championship. So it was first and second, and it was down to the wire. And those girls, it changed their lives. And
but you made it. You made it. So, in my opinion, you made it that far. That makes you a champion as well.
Actually, I wasn't thinking about myself that way. I was just glad to be a part of the process. Sometimes when you're passionate, you see the transformation of others. You forget about yourself. It's hard to explain that. All I can say is look in the mirror and go do it for yourself, and then you'll get that experience. But there's so many things that have been inspired since that 23 magic number along the way. So I'm just glad and excited to be on your show. I had a chance to look at some of your previous episodes. You were in the raw. You keep it real and you keep it truthful and sincere. So that's what I love about your show. I'm glad to be a part of that as one of your honored guests. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be on your show.
I'm so honored to have you on my show. Let's get into it. So, the Legacy Chef.
Yes.
Where did that name come from?
Oh, I think that's one of the first questions most people ask me, because it hits people. It's like, and first of all, how did you even get that name, Legacy Chef? I was just thinking about it, and how do I explain that to folks? And each time it's a little bit different because it's an ongoing story for me. But the original simple way of when I first started explaining it was like, it comes from my family. It's the people I wanted to honor before me that did all the culinary things as chefs. And so it wasn't stemmed from me. Sometimes we think that things come directly from us, and the journey is always in the beginning of who's taught you, who's inspired you, and what legacy did they pass on from their lives onto you. So that's really why that name just stuck. Having a business background too, I say, okay, I got to check and find out if there's anybody else who owns that name. And I talk about this a lot with some of the youth and other people and other professionals. I'm like, if you've got a brand, you better make certain that you get it trademarked. I don't mean, some of those letters you get in the mail and all that stuff. I'm talking about at the actual USPTO organization. Get that done from there. Now you're federal, you're all 50 states and international, all in one. So that was what I looked up, and I saw that nobody had it. So I went on ahead, broke my piggy bank, because I was on a shoestring budget when I first started this thing, and went on out and just went and did it. And haven't looked back since. There are people who came into my lives to help even elevate that further from me, and saw my sincere vision of wanting to what I do as Legacy Chef, because that's usually the other question that people ask me. So I'll just not get ahead of myself, and just hopefully that was good enough explanation.
It's definitely a unique name, and I did Google it and didn't find anyone else with it. So
well, hopefully my name popped up, and I popped up on that.
Yes.
Google.
Yes. How did you get into cooking? What made you want to start by the way, you have this delicious barbecue cuisine, the kebabs and the rice, and I'm gonna try it. I may not get it as good as you, but I'm gonna try to make it because it sounds amazing. How did you get into that?
I got into it, I would say, as far as the creativity of that, it kind of evolved, because I started out cooking with some of the long-term secret recipes and type of things, because I come from a family of chefs and very well-known chefs in New Orleans. You might say New Orleans, we say New
New
Orleans.
Orleans. I got a lot of family down there in Slidell, so they talk just like that.
Oh, all right. Now we might be related. Okay.
We could be.
So I started in with those, and then I started to look out there because I'm going to do I was thinking, okay, I'm going to do kind of the traditional thing, go back to school, get, the paper credentials and all that stuff. But a cousin of mine sat down and said, why you want to do that when we already have award-winning restaurants in our family? And they're coming to visit us to see what we do. So you are a chef, and this is why. And so I started looking that up deeply, and I know I'm getting to the point where I cook what I cook. And I started to think of when I was cooking the recipes that I wanted to make those healthier. As Black folks, we love our food. We love it. It's better tastes good. And we're particular about what we put in it and all those great things. And it's like, that's the authentic recipe. So I have all those authentic recipes, but I'm going, well, how can I make this healthier? And as I started doing that, I started expanding. I said, you know what? My mom's word came into my head. There is no limit. Go outside the boundaries and see what you come up with. And so that's what I did. I started coming up with these unique styles of recipes. I started looking into, okay, instead of just regular types of things, can I see something that's gluten-free? Can I see something that if somebody has a allergic aversion to, such as dairy, you can't have that mac and cheese like you want to, or you did have it and you suffered through it.
That's me.
Yep. Or you went to the store and said, oh, I'll just grab the one that says gluten-free on it or whatever and eat that. And then you're like, this doesn't taste the way
Horrible.
You're sitting there doing this, putting all the stuff in it that you ain't supposed to have. Before you know it, you just put all the stuff in it that is no longer gluten-free. So I started to look at what you can season and how you can really bring these together. And I started that over 7 years ago. And so it wasn't popular. So at first I was so excited, I started cooking these different things. Here's one example. I was doing mac and cheese.
Everybody loves good mac and cheese.
Yeah, and they're like sitting there going, I said, hey, this is, it's gluten free. It doesn't have cheese. It don't have cheese in it. It has, nobody wanted to take a bite. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to start tricking these people. And say, hey, here you go. Oh, that smells so good. And they're just like, oh, this is so good. And they're like, man, how do you make? What kind of blend did you? It just tastes a little different. I said, yeah. I said, you like that taste? Oh, yeah. I said, well, I got these spices combination that I got from, the Southwest, and I added those in with the New Orleans style spices. And so I'm able to do this with it. And I said, but I also found these companies, they actually make these kind of gluten-free, lactose-free, cheeses. I said, so I start using that. And they're like, so this don't have no cheese? I said, it don't have no cheese. And I said, okay, you don't want it. And I start reaching for their plate. They're like, oh, no, this is good. Okay, so it's healthier. I said, that's right. It's healthier. And so that's how I started with the different styles. I did, shrimp and grits. I did a style of gumbo. I did the jambalaya. I did, all the different styles of food that we love, but I made them all healthier. And that's what got the attention. And then I said, well, let me start, I know we cook with wines and different things. I said, you know what? What's this craft beer?
That was my next question.
Yes.
How and when did you come up with the craft beer concept and cooking with it?
Literally within that same year, as I was experimenting with stuff, I said, you know what? I'm going to start cooking the same stuff and start adding in these different styles of craft beer. And what I found was craft beer, when you think of it, we think of that, the college student guzzling it down and, it tastes like, just burns your throat and it's bitter. And you drink enough of it, you get your buzz and you're happy. But nobody, you pour it over your ribs or whatever you do,
Yep.
That kind of thing. And, okay, yeah, that it just softens the meat. That's kind of what we're thinking. But I started to really do research on it. I said, okay, the best way for me to know about craft beer is to become a student. So I actually found there are actual colleges and universities that teach how to make the craft beer, what it is, the history behind it. Yeah, it goes all the way back to Africa.
Okay.
Yep, not the Ethiopians, but the Egyptians. The Egyptians, if you look on their hieroglyphics, that's what they used to make for the royalty. And the first people to actually make the beer were women. It wasn't men, and it was a brown color, and they used the African roots and all the things from there. So it was very healthy for you and actually very nourishing. So it was so tasteful that the royalty, the Egyptian royalty said, no, you only make it for us. So if you were a brewer, you made a little side thing for everybody else in the village.
Okay.
and you sold it for some extra money. So that's kind of, it's been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And it's actually healthy because of all the things that it's made with is grown. It is not chemical.
Yeah.
That's why craft beer is that. You have the different styles of beer, which is in the stores. That is usually by profit, and the bigger companies add things to it. And because of that, that's why it isn't as nourishing as it could be. But I focused on healthier, and that was craft beer. So I started looking out there and going to all of the local brewers. And then I started to say, wait, I want to find local brewers that have different cultural diversities. So I started talking with Native American brewers that they use different roots and stuff and things in their beer. Then I started talking with the Latinos and all of them and what they did with the jalapenos, the peppers, and all the things they put in theirs. Then I started talking, with us, the Black folks that are out there doing it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, they're using Jamaican style, they're using the island style, they're doing all the different stuff. And I'm like, this is incredible. And then that's when I found there's a whole network out there doing that. So I looked at craft beer as seasoning. So I have a little example here.
Okay.
How does this sound? I'm going to show you this one. Peaches and cream.
That sounds delicious.
It tastes just like peaches and cream. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like liquid heaven.
And it's beer.
And it's craft beer.
Wow.
Beer. And that's made by a craft beer brewery in Arizona. That's a whole other story. I went there to that actual brewery. They gave me the tour of the whole complex. And they know that I cook with the craft beer. So I'm actually developing specific recipes with their signature beers. This one here I love the most because it brings me back home. And just to show you guys and ladies out there that say, oh, I don't like craft beer, how about having something like this?
That sounds good too.
It's called Drink Praline Love.
I love praline.
Or you can say praline, however you want to say it.
Is it really sweet?
It tastes just like it. So you imagine pouring that in your
glass. What type
of
meals would you cook up with those?
Oh, desserts.
Okay.
Wonderful desserts. Creme brulee. That would be one. You can do pies, certain types of cream pies. You can add this also if you want to elevate some type of, I guess, if you want to say, because this type of beer would go really well with like a red style meat.
Okay.
So if you wanted to add a combination, and that's the other thing too with this, you can combine different styles of beers into one. Think of it as seasoning. So this one is good for desserts. The other one, the peaches and cream, that's a hybrid. You can use that for actual sauces. So if you want to put that over salads or something like that. So think about that as you're eating your salad, and you go ahead and make a nice little sauce with that, which is a healthier sauce, and you just pour that over top. Ooh, it's a whole
you got
other
my
elevation.
stomach over here. Because it's like I can taste it just by your presentation of talking about it. It's like I can taste it.
Oh, yes, yes. And so that's what really got me excited, because it opened up these whole other doors that I didn't realize. I said, you know what? That's just craft beer. And then I started experimenting with the distilled type beers. In other words, actual people who go and make bourbons. They actually make the bourbons.
Okay.
So it's not the stuff you buy in the store. This is the stuff they make, and it tastes different. The flavor is great. And when you cook with it, you cook out most of all the alcohol and you leave that flavor. So that's also the seasoning of what you can do. So I started recreating this, basically taking apart all the recipes that I've known and what I've created over these years to create all these unique things that you may see on my website, or you might maybe see out there on YouTube or any other types of platforms, because we're about ready to roll out some stuff in 2025 that's going to blow some socks off. So
Oh Lord.
oh yeah, yeah.
Can you talk about any of that with us, or is it hush hush until actually 2025?
I am
Just
sharing.
give us a little sample.
Well, I did give out a sample. One of those things you talked about with the kebab. Now, the kebab, that wasn't, you think about kebab and you're going to pour it on, all that kind of stuff. Well, that recipe I actually gave. It's in an article. You can get it for free. You can actually go do it yourself. And
I got that recipe.
I also have how you can make the sauce and the glaze on top of it. Then you can leave out the craft beer if you want. It's going to taste just as good. It's going to be just as healthy. Or you can just add to what I suggested in there, and then you'll elevate it to that next notch. And then you'll be able to taste that too, and realize that craft beer is not just a liquid, we call it enthusiast to raise your joy level, but it's a seasoning, and it's also something that's healthy that the body really accepts and helps internally. A lot of the things people talk about is their digestive system, things like that. They have things that they're brewing and they're making out there that is great for your actual gut. It's not always about what we think. If you drink too much of that, you're going to get a big gut. Remember that? Drink too much beer, you're going to get a big gut. No, the craft beer and what they're doing is on a whole other level. So that's where I'm at. I don't get too deep on scientific on that, because all people want to know is if it tastes good, and then can I make it? So that's what I focus on.
Where can people outside of yourself find craft beers? Like, do they sell them in your everyday liquor store, or are they special ordered?
What I encourage people to do is to go to their favorite liquor store or place and say, do you have any craft beer? Now, if there's one that in particular that you like and you've tasted, ask them for that, because that will help that local brewer or whoever it is to get into those stores. And so because they're going against the big companies, the ones that we all know that are out there. These are people like you and I that actually have started at home brewing those, and then they evolved it into an actual brick and mortar spot. And so now for them to get known is usually through word of mouth or through people like myself that are cooking or doing things with their craft beer. And so that promotes them. So that's one of the things that I love being able to do. That's why I showed you these cans, and I showed you the brewery where that came from, which is in Arizona. The name of that brewery, if most people want to know, is the Tombstone Brewing Company. They have 3 locations there in Arizona. It's a wonderful place to go to. I've been to all 3 of them when I went out there, and their operation and is friendly for all cultures for people to go to. The wonderful taste that you'll have there it's just incredible. So that's just one of many that I've been to over the past 7+ years. So now to answer your question, because you're like, okay, can you tell me a little bit about it? I know I answered with the actual kebab, but one of the things I will share is I did the mac and cheese. My mac and cheese, if you think about it, or if you've seen it, because there is an article that's coming out on it. It's actually, you ever seen the big jumbo shells?
Yes.
All right. What I did was, they're actually gluten free, by the way, is that you can stuff those, and I stuffed those with the actual cheeses on the inside, but the cheeses that were in it, remember, I'm gonna trick you. Inside the cheese isn't cheese. It is a form of a plant-based cheese. And so you get that taste of the cheese. And also, I added in there another ingredient, but I can't tell you that one. But I put that one in there. And then I made the actual sauce for that to glaze over top of that. Now you're thinking, well, that would have dairy in it. No, it doesn't. My friend is coconut. I'm going to tell you right now. So you got coconut milk. That's non-dairy. And then you add your spices, you add all the things into it, and then that's glazed. And then there's a whole process on how that's made, which I show how that's done. And then that's all that matters is it's on your plate. You're looking at it, and you're going, that looks so good. And you just pick it up. You take that big jumbo shell, you can cut into it. You just get your fork and put it down in it. You bring it on up. And, oh, that's so good. And then I tell them.
So they have no idea until you tell them.
That's correct. Now those that know me already, they already know. Okay, so what are you gonna trick me with this time? That looks like meat. That looks like meat. Oh, it does. Oh, yeah. Okay, don't. And they're talking to each other. Hey, don't believe it. Don't believe it. Let's just eat it. Oh man, it tastes good. No, this is steak. This is this. This is that. They're throwing all this stuff out there. Then I tell them, now you're all wrong. This is what it is. And then, oh no, I can't believe. And you can make it too. And you can get all the stuff that I just did in your supermarket, because that's what I do. I make what I can on a higher level, because I do private shows, and some of the people are like, hey, I want to have these type of things. But then and I say, you know what? This is all about what we can do in our own kitchen, because I want people to live healthier, lower their blood pressure down, lower all the cholesterol down, get healthier. Your body can recover from a lot of these things. They'll help you lose weight while you're eating 2 plates, and you're still wondering why you're losing weight. So
my baby girl suffers from high cholesterol really, really bad. She can't put the bread down, all the starches, everything. So I'm gonna have to get with you and get some of your recipes or a book or something.
Yeah. Well, I have there's a gluten-free, because you said bread, right? She can't have the bread. Is she have gluten? That's probably one of the biggest things for her. The other is probably what else that goes into it. There might be a couple other things. So I make it as healthy as possible. And I made a muffin out of cornbread. And that was all 100% organic and gluten-free. And one of the ladies that tried it, she said, I've had it before, and I always have issues because they always put this one thing in it. And I said, well, I found this type of process that they make for the cornmeal that does not have that. And so I used that, and then I made it with this. I said, no, go ahead and try it. Hopefully, she goes, I'm gonna try it. So she tried it, and she was so happy. Tears came to her eyes. She's like, I can finally have cornbread now. And I said, yeah. And I said, I'll send you, the recipe and all that stuff too. I do that for people too that are like, I said, I'm just going to send it to you. But, it's a business. I tell them it's a business. So please don't send that out to a whole bunch of people. Keep that as,
Yeah.
our secret, because I'm going to put this up there because, and I'm going to have a small fee to it, but it's nothing that's, breaking anybody's bank. It's to really promote, and at the same time, keep my doors open.
Absolutely.
and allow me to go out there to do these things that I'm doing, so that people can eat healthier. So that's been my journey. I've connected with so many other folks, like my publicist. She's so amazing. You might have
Yes, she
met her.
is.
Yes, yes, that's right. I'm plugging you.
Yes, she is. She's amazing.
Desiree L. Benson, double award winning publicist. She's amazing.
Yes.
There's a whole story on how I connected with her. But she took, and saw what I've done, and just so amazing. I call her one of my women of wisdom. and that's also you too.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, there are so many of us that we help each other and we do great things. And I'm a strong believer of the women in my life and the men in my life that provide wisdom. So I got my Ma crew. That's my men of wisdom.
Yes.
And then I got my women, the women of wow. So she's amazing. I highly recommend just following her on Instagram too, and just that's Desiree Benson. So
yes, I love her. Her energy is amazing.
Yes, and she truly does care about folks and what she does for them, and just like you. And
thank you.
It's kind of like you meet people like that, and we all kind of at one point in our lives we all come together, and we just want to help people. We want to take the talents we have and showcase, and make life a little bit easier and better for those, and give them the spotlight. So
I call it my soul tribe.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I like that.
Yep, my soul tribe.
That's wonderful. Oh my goodness. Now, what's one of your favorite dishes that you like?
I love mac and cheese.
Oh, okay. So
I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't have much of it. But I always overdo it. Like Thanksgiving's next week. I know I'm going to overdo it on the mac and cheese.
You can have this, and you have as much of it as you want, because it has no lactose, none. Lactose averse. It has no dairy. You will. I've already went, and it's been tested.
Okay. So I trust you, because after all, you are the legacy chef.
Yes.
The legacy says a lot.
So I'll send you a picture of it too if you haven't seen it. So that way you know in advance what you're gonna get.
And we can plug it into this as well. I'll show them a presentation at the end and let them know how good your food looks and that it tastes good as well.
Okay.
Because it has to taste good. It can look good, but it gotta taste good.
Oh, that's my tag. That's it. It's not just looking good. It's got to taste good. There's so many dishes that we've seen out there, and they taste great. And or different. That's how I put it, because instead of saying something tastes bad, I just say it tastes different. That's just a Southern thing. I mean, because they put that time and energy and effort into it. And there's somebody else who may like what it is that you don't like. So it's just different for us. That's why people ask me, why aren't you, have you ever done any cooking shows and things like that? But I don't want to get ahead of myself.
No, go ahead. Have you done any cooking shows? Do you have anything coming up where you're going to be doing a cooking show?
Well, I did a lot of the private type shows is what I started to do. And I did a lot in home, because and then those people encouraged me to, why don't you go and try these things at this show? Put your resume out there and do these things. And I started thinking about it, and one of the things that you want to identify and do, if you're passionate about doing it, is know what message you want to give.
Yeah.
And so nothing that's wrong with any of the cooking shows. I just haven't found one yet that has that kind of a forum. And that's why I created the website that I did, was that I did my own cooking videos, put them up there, and did it in my own kitchen. One of the most inspiring shows I saw that was closest to what I would like to see happen is, remember Julia Childs?
Yes.
She had to go through all kinds of stuff, but instead of her doing a restaurant and having this huge show where, you know, she has all these chefs on there and they're competing against each other, and then they got to choose which one is the best out of all that, she just featured that chef, whoever it was, that person who she said, and show me what it is that you do. And then they did, and she said, oh, that's wonderful. And then she would taste their food and go, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. So she was helping to promote other chefs. And at that time, it was like, you know, it really is in lines with, you know, that's what everybody has, those things that they cook really well. Why not have a show like that? I said, I would love to be on something like that, where you're on it and you're doing something that's talking about what it is that you're doing, as opposed to, okay, you got to compete against this other person, and then you got to say, okay, mine is better than yours. And it's like, I've seen some of the shows, I'm like, that looked pretty good. And this one did too. But I'm not that competitive into that sense. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't be something that down the road for me to be involved with, because I think that is good. It provides, and it opens the doors and interest to those who want to get involved with cooking. So, but as for me, the type of chef, I am a legacy chef. I'm a generational chef. I like to do the things that are home felt, that anyone else can do. And I encourage people to do that, because if you do something well, they're going to copy it.
Yep. I know all too well.
And that is the compliment of a chef, is you want people to be able to do it. And you want to create new recipes that maybe someone else, they may not have been able to try, or wanting to try, because it's like, who's going to be interested in that? So I started out that way. So I'm just going to make recipes that, if it's even crazy to think about, I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'll see how it is. I'll try it out. And if people like it, then great. Then I just add that into a video that I'll do, and I just put that out there. So I have a library of videos that I'm building up on my own main website, where that way you can go there, you can watch it, you can see what it is, and that way you have an interaction with me, where you can say, okay, I tried it at home, and this is what I really loved, and I added this to it, and it was like this. It was so great. So I look at my recipes as guidelines.
Okay.
They're not in rock solid, but they are a foundation. So therefore, you can take that and you can add and play with that. Make it your own. Do a couple things with it. But that's how I was raised, with the chefs that I were raised by, and then just my family as well. So, and friends. So that's my passion, and it turned into a nice business. And that's what I want to encourage people to. If this is your passion and it's not a hobby, it's something that you believe that you're going to want to do, then the B word is good, business. Go on ahead and do the things and find out what that is, so that way you can support your friends, your family, and other projects and things of what you want to do, such as what I do. It's not just me, but in my community, I support the kids of autism within the area here. And so we're in the process of talking about a program that allows the kids to learn how to cook something.
Nice.
So, and to make it healthier for them too. So that way it's not they're just cooking what's there, but they're learning how to cook healthy too. And so who knows, maybe down the road, there'll be a chef that through just some of the things that we do, goes out there and becomes that next legacy chef and continuing on and doing what they maybe would have not had the opportunity to do.
No maybes to it. They will.
That's right.
They will. They will. Just from our conversation, if you're behind it and you're pushing them and you're teaching them and guiding them, there's no doubt in my mind that they will. So no baby to it. They will.
Yes, there is some hurdles we got to go through because of just some particular barriers, because of just some of the limitations that they may or may not be able to do, those
Yeah.
type of things. So we're working on all that, but it's really exciting about being able to start the process, and so I love doing those kinds of things as well
Yeah.
as creating what I'm doing now as well. So it's just, I don't know.
It's being of service, and people like us who are genuinely servants to others, it's fulfilling. Like you said, it's a passion.
Yes, yeah,
It's
it
definitely a
is.
passion.
Yeah.
Where do you see the legacy chef? You said it's been 7 years. You've perfected your craft, and probably not to you, because as perfectionists, we never are perfect. But in
Yeah.
my eyes, you've perfected your craft. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I see myself touring,
Okay.
going outside the U.S., going to other different cultures and places to be able to expand upon that. The world is a big world, and
Yes.
it's not just here in the U.S.
Yes.
But there are so many other things that can be done, and so many different ways that can be added to the culinary experience. Different types of roots. There's different types of herbs. There's different types of things that are out there that we don't have access to in the U.S. and that are so healthy for us. So I see it. That's part of my bigger journey, is being able to do that. And so that's where I see in 5 years I'll be traveling and doing the things that I continue to love to do, and being able to expand and see where God takes me with that. So
I'm excited for you. I really am. And I'm here to be able to see you go on your journey and tour, and you'll be the next headline, in the news, or the next cover of the magazine. And I could be like, he was on my sofa.
yeah, I wanted to actually sit on one of the sofas back here, but I was like, no, the lighting isn't good. So I ended up sitting in the chair. Hey, this is real, folks. So I'm not just, yeah. So I'm in my home. I'm down in the man cave down here because it's quiet.
Do you see yourself like opening up a chain of restaurants or anything like that?
I don't see myself doing it. What I do
Okay.
see is because some folks had talked to me about doing some type of a guideline or cooking book or something like that.
Okay.
And with technology the way it is now, it can evolve to even more than that.
Yeah.
So I foresee possibly doing something once and many people being able to do it. So maybe a video or some type
Okay.
of electronic form where the chef pulls it up and he's like, hey, I'm going to be featuring so-and-so's dish today, and this is what we're
Okay.
going to do. And then they'll have the recipe. They'll be able to do it because honestly, a lot of the chefs in most of the restaurants, they're cooking dishes that have already been out there.
Yeah.
It's nothing that now there's few that have created their own, but usually in the restaurant style, people come to what they know. The ones that don't come to what they know usually is a smaller group of people. They come there for that difference. And so they
Yeah.
pay more for that. And then that chef they say the chef special. And then that chef goes and does the one thing. But I wanted to create something that can be in multiple places at once. And then if I'm doing something myself personally, then I could do it for a specific reason. A lot of the events and things that I do is for a local presence or for an organization or for just to support that location, wherever that might be. And of course, it's a business, they pay, but at the same time, it's a relationship, a partnership. And so those are the things that I've done in the beginning. I went to those breweries. I used to show up in the beginning and say, I'll just do it for free because I was just getting started out. And it was a new idea. Nobody was doing that. And they said, yeah, go ahead. So I started doing it. And then the people were going crazy. And they're like, I can't believe you were cooking this food, this dish. I had a po' boy and it had the beer in it that from this location, and it tastes so much better. So they were able to, I was doing stuff like that in the beginning. But now the last one that I did was with a major winery. That was a St. Julian's Winery. It's the largest winery in Michigan. We did a private event. And they were just like, we just wanted to do something like this. We usually had pairings. We brought in cheeses and all kinds of, but to actually have someone cook with our wines and then do it with new recipes and, as a chef. So I did 3 different items. And that story I shared earlier with the cornbread, it was a cornbread dessert muffin was what I made. And it was glazed with a Creole style honey glaze over top. And she's like, this has no butter? She was like, I can't believe it, don't have no butter. So all this stuff, right? So that was just, one of the items, but I went through each one of them with the folks as they were there, and they just could not believe it. They're still talking about it as we speak. We're trying to work through some details of possibly me coming to do something in 2025. But right now, they're still glazing over from the last year when I did that. So I'm
waiting on my invite. I'm just waiting on my invite. You got me over here licking my lips and oh my God.
Yeah. That, and then, I say healthier because people don't want me to give up some of the other things such as ribs, the things that, I still eat meat or I still eat this. And I say, okay, well, if you're going to cook with that, here's a healthier way for you to do that. Because at least if you're going to eat it, let's go ahead and just make it. Let's get rid of some of the saturated, some of the bad stuff that's in it. And let's give you the essence of what that meat should be, taste, flavor wise, and at least it's a little bit healthier for you. So I do a lot of unorganic foods too as well. So I still cook with all that, but it's like I'll try to make whatever I can through that healthier. But if I can convert the whole thing over, I'll do it and trick them.
That should have been your name, the trickster. The trickster. But I love it. I love it because people get so hung up on what's familiar.
Yes.
They get so hung up on what's familiar. So I love the fact that you're able to present a meal or a dish and they don't know. They don't know what's in it. All they know is that it tastes familiar.
Yes. Now, there is one thing I like to leave a tip with and talk to people about, if you don't mind me sharing it.
Go ahead.
To be healthy and save them money at the same time. I said, I like to do something.
We always want to save money.
I said, okay, this is, they have nothing culinary, but here's just something that, I found that you can save money on and it's healthier for you. And so I said, okay, when you buy your pickles, right? That pickle juice that you have in there. I said, now you can spend extra money and get the pickle juice that is called brine. It actually, you look on the back of it, it'll say brine. I'm like, that's probably the best you can get. But if you just go out there and get the regular pickle, juice, and you're done with that and you're about ready to throw the pickle juice away, I said, don't do that. I said, go to the store, buy yourself an organic cucumber, wash it, and then cut it up, just like in those slices that you would have had before, and put it in that pickle juice, and you just reseal that in and put it right back in your refrigerator. And guess what? You just have within 1, 2, 3 days, or if you want it longer, but within 3 days, you will have pickles.
Really?
Yeah, that pickle juice keeps on giving.
I'm going to tell my daughters that because they love pickles.
Yes. And if they get the one where it's the brine, That's the more expensive pickles, the organic ones. You do the same thing. You put that in with that, and you just go ahead and put that in the refrigerator. And it's actually less than 3 days. That takes only less. That's like 48 hours.
Wow.
So that, if you really do the numbers, and nowadays when people, go into grocery stores and trying to cut back in any way they can, and that's their favorite, they can do that. So that's one of the tips that I let people know. And they go and they try.
Okay.
I said, I don't know. That doesn't sound right. I don't think it's going to be the same. And then they go ahead. And I said, now, when you do that, how would you like to have it spiced in a certain way? And then you can add these combinations of spices into that jar. And then when you take the pickle out and you eat that, now you've got a flavored pickle that's unique. So I'm currently working on those right now. The different spices that kind of just add into that, so that way, and it's in your kitchen. So it's not like you got to go somewhere else. And then so there's a whole bunch of things that you can do with that. So you have these different flavor styles of the things that you like. So, and save money at the same time. So
nice. Where can people like me, who needs an invite, find your food? Do you only do personal catering? Do you only do parties? Where can we find your food?
Well, I do have my main website, and like y'all, when I first started this, I'm not the tech guy. I had to go out and learn all this stuff and do this. So, with passion, you make do what you got. So I went and did that, and I created my main website, which is taste, like you're tasting food, the THE, and then craft with a C, CRAFT.net. It's nothing but the net. Remember the basketball phrase of 23?
It all ties in now.
It all ties back in, right? So www.tastethecraft.net. And then when you go there, you'll see cooking with beer. You can click on that. I got a video that I give for free that's up there that you can test it out and say, okay, what's this guy all about? So you get access for 48 hours. You just go ahead, just sign up on that, and you get me on the video cooking. And I'm cooking I'm trying to remember which one. Oh, it's a caramel, banana, strawberry, French toast.
Lord have mercy.
And you have the option to add craft beer to it if you want. And the craft beer that I use.
Oh, the praline.
Oh no, I didn't use that one, but you can. But you can if you want to. I use the cream craft beer.
Okay.
So think of it like a whipped cream. So it tastes like that. So that kind of gives you, I don't want to give it away too much for you, but that's what that is. And it's in my kitchen. You get to see it. You see me doing my thing. And then you can do it, because you're like, hey, if he can do that, I can do that.
That's one of my favorite breakfast dishes, French toast. I love French toast. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you can watch that. And then if you like that, then you can subscribe in there, and then you get access to the other, the recipes that are involved, where I do the soups, I do the different styles of shrimp and grits, and I do all kinds of other Southern wonderful favorites that are in there, and I add to that. So, and then if you decide you only want to be in it for like 90 days or so, then that's it. You're done. And if you want to continue on, you continue on as the videos continue to be added on to it. And so I keep all that there for a specific reason, as because one, I can keep it as long and short as I like. The other is I have worked out with independent musicians and artists. I combined what we love the most, which is food and music, together. So these are independent artists that are coming up that does jazz style music and all the different style of music. Some people you may or may not know that are on there, that I went to those artists and I'm able to use their music in the background, and that way you can support those specific artists as well, and I have their permission to do so. So That's why I have a lot of that on my own website, is so that I can independently support them and that they can be supported as well.
I love the way it's not just about you, how you try to incorporate everyone into what you have going on to make a bigger picture. I love that.
Yes, yes. And I love this show. So guess what?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm about to do, I love to do a recipe for you.
Oh! I would love that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I plugged you already. I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. I said, what is your favorite dish? You said, oh, I love me some mac and cheese.
I do. I do.
So I'm gonna make a specific one, but there's something else I'll need to ask you too, which is, what is, if it was some type of seafood or anything, what's your favorite seafood?
Oh God, I'm a lobster girl.
Okay.
I love lobster.
All right, so wait and see what I do for you.
I can't wait. I can't wait. You got me overjoyed over here. I think this is my favorite interview yet. And don't forget to do your shameless plug.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. Which one?
Whichever, I told you, it's your stage. Whichever one you want to do.
Well, what I really would like to got me laughing now. I really would love for people to take the time to go to my main website and to click on Contact Us and put your name and your information in there, because that provides me with a direct line to you. So that way I can send you out the up and coming VIP stuff that I love to do for the folks that do sign up on that. I know out there, I'm getting feedback that some people don't seem to be getting in touch with each other when they're trying to send stuff out. I said, this is the best way I can reach you. This is the best way I can send something out directly to you, which has that information on it. And I can send you what I call my sneak peeks. And that is, I'll send you some of the pictures of some things I'm thinking of doing. And also, it's a feedback of what you can give me and letting me know, oh, that sounds great. Oh, go do this. And so that also gives me that extra enthusiasm to go and try it as well, too. Even though I'm enthusiastic on my own, I'd love to hear from you. And that's the best thing. That's the plug I have is, you are, and the reason why I'm here is because of you. And so what you send and what you put in back to me, that would be a blessing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Vincent, aka the trickster now, the flavorful legacy chef. Thank you so much for joining us on the sofa today. It was an honor. I enjoyed this. I hope you come back again.
Yes.
And again, so we can talk. I can't wait to get my very own dish.
Yes. I'll be working on it this week.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you, Vincent. It's been a pleasure. And thank you, Couch Potatoes, for tuning in on the sofa again and again and again. And we out of here because we got shit to do. Bye-bye.